Hey, let's talk some soccer. Okay, so we're talking about the FIFA Club World Cup again, LAFC versus Chelsea. As you know, I'm reviewing all of the MLS teams' participation in this trophy. So let's break down my three takeaways from this match. Okay, first takeaway. If you are relying on DAZN, this app, to watch the games, I would consider trying any other way to watch them, whether it's on Univision, TNT, TBS, whatever, wherever else you can find these games. Don't use this app. It was a nightmare. I missed the beginning of the game because when I clicked on it, it kept trying to show me these advertisements and live. I ultimately, thank God, found the game on TBS and deleted DAZN off of my TV. I'm going to do another video talking about my specific experience with how I missed the first half an hour of this game, and it drove me crazy. But my first takeaway is do not watch any of these games on DAZN. Side note, when I finally got the game on, as I expected, on 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Atlanta against with Chelsea and LAFC, even though Chelsea is a big draw, let's be honest, they were planning this game to be Club Leon against Chelsea. They're counting on Mexican fans coming in to support Leon Chelsea. There's a lot of Chelsea fans, not a lot of LAFC fans. I did hear the 3-2-5-2 chant, so I know our boys were in the building. Our men and women that support our club were in there. But considering the size of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it looked a little empty, even though it sounded good. And, of course, the production quality of FIFA is always high. This time of day, that size of stadium with LAFC in the total wrong market, it was not as impressive as, let's say, the Miami game or the Seattle game. All right, my second takeaway. I was super proud of LAFC in this game. I mean, never having seen them play against any teams of this caliber. Yeah, I've seen them in CONCACAF Champions League against like really great Mexican teams, and that's cool. I mean, but you always, as an MLS fan, you always have these fun, hypotheticals of like, what if an MLS team was in the Premier League? What if they were in La Liga? What if they're in the Bundesliga or Ligue 1? And you don't know because it'll never happen. And MLS fans are always like, oh, they'd be like mid-table, they wouldn't. And I think Premier League and European fans are like, they would get relegated. It's and both are probably justified in thinking that. So, but just as an MLS fan and as a LAFC supporter here in Los Angeles, I loved seeing the black and golds up against the Chelsea Blues. So it was, no matter what the result was, it was going to be a really great experience for me as an MLS fan. I think this is something that all the people abroad that have kind of been poo-pooing this tournament, they're like, oh, the boys need to rest, and this is dumb, and Bayern Munich beat that team from New Zealand 10-0. What a joke. I think what they're forgetting is that they have the top leagues over there, and they get to see the best players and the best and the most historic clubs, and that's their they just take it for granted. It's the same way if someone's like, oh, I would love to see the NFL, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go catch a Chargers or a Rams game, or yeah, maybe this weekend I'll catch a Dodgers game and nothing. But people from around the world want to come see the Dodgers play, you know what I mean, or the Lakers. So for us, it's like, yeah, maybe your teams are better. Maybe it's not that big of a challenge to them. Maybe you're not that interested. But for us, it's a big deal to see our teams playing against your guys' teams. So I really enjoyed that a lot. I think LAFC came out and gave a great performance. I think we have everything to be proud of. I think our finishing let us down, and we deserved at least a goal. I don't know if the boys had bad nerves or what it was, or just the moment was bigger than them, or if the Chelsea players were just rattling them. But I know that, look, let's be honest, you could tell there was a gap in quality. Chelsea looked like they should, like a top English Premier League team, just coming off of the Europa Conference League championship, and they're all, teams like that are a pleasure to watch. But LAFC didn't get bullied, and we created chances. It wasn't like we just sat back and was trying not to lose. We tried to win, baby, and we did our best. And I hope that even in a small way, if the Chelsea players or supporters were like, oh man, they did better than we expected. So that's my second takeaway. All right, third takeaway. Let's talk about some of these players. I think David Martinez was kind of the standout performer for LAFC. He came in after Nathan Ordaz got a concussion, and he played like he wasn't intimidated. He had some back and forth with Cucurella a couple times, which I loved, because Cucurella is like maybe the most expensive left back in the Premier League, and he's a starter for the Spanish national team. This guy is like legit. So the fact that David Martinez, this 19-year-old Venezuelan kid, is going toe-to-toe with him, banging around, and I think the reason why Cucurella started to foul him and try to get in his head is because he got chopped. David Martinez chopped him real bad, and it was a chance to score. David Martinez's right foot, they need to work on that in practice, Steve, Mr. Cherundolo. David Martinez needs to work on that right foot. But he knows how to, he rises to the occasion. He creates opportunities. He's not afraid to run at players, and I love that about him. I think Denny Bouanga represented. He did everything Denny Bouanga always does. I think his finishing let him down a little bit. I think he had two very clear chances of scoring goals. There was one late in the second half where it looked like he was going to have a one-on-one. I wish he would have took another touch and hit it with his left, but I know he prefers cutting in on his right, so I don't knock him for that. But when he did, the defenders caught up and broke it up. Giroud, I thought, was solid. Lloris had one good save in the first half. I think Sergi Palencia was a standout for LAFC. You could tell that this guy went through the Barcelona academy. He was tight on defense. He made runs up the flank, and overall, I think he did really, really well. The player from Chelsea, now granted, as time has gone on, as an American soccer fan, I can't always get up at 5 a.m. to watch the English games. I wish they came on later, but just as a product of my environment, I like to watch games in the evening when I'm off of work and when I can sit down and, relax and watch games on primetime. So I like the MLS. So I'm not overly familiar with all the European teams anymore. I try to follow Real Madrid, just because that's my childhood club. But this guy, Cole Palmer, number 10, young guy from Chelsea, I thought he was brilliant. Man, pace, touch, IQ, he was fun to watch. This might even make me want to watch Chelsea a little bit. I haven't kept up with Chelsea since Christian Pulisic left them, but this kid was really impressive. And also Enzo, I think, I don't know if it's Fernandez, I think he's from Argentina, and I think I remember seeing him at the World Cup. It was cool to see him too. Really, really fun to watch these European players, because the thing that's different between these European teams and the MLS teams, their touch is just they're faster. Like the pace of the game mixed with their technique is just beautiful to watch. I hope the MLS gets there one day. It's not there. LAFC knocked the ball around a little bit, but Chelsea and these types of teams, they knock the ball around like that all game. The other player for Chelsea that I thought had a really good game was, there's this new guy, number 9, that came in. He came in at the end, but he had the assist on the second goal to Enzo. He looks like he's going to be a promising forward for Chelsea. I think it was a really, really fun match to watch as an LAFC fan, because all I wanted to see was that they didn't embarrass the league and they played the way I watch them play every weekend at BMO Stadium here in Los Angeles. So although the result is not what we wanted, 2-0, I think it's our own fault that we didn't finish our chances, but we did generate opportunities, and it was really, really fun to watch. And I'm going to remember this game for the rest of my life, the fact that FIFA created a tournament where I can see LAFC play teams like Chelsea. So I hope you guys are watching these games as well, and let's see how they do in the rest of the tournament. All right, talk to you soon.